Welcome back. It's Brooke-Sidney, your favorite mindset and manifestation coach. And today I am talking all about shifting your reality, manifesting your desires by changing your self-talk. But before I get into it, I just want to remind you there are several ways to work with me: one-on-one coaching, email, as well as the Manifesting Frequency, my amazing new group course. I'd love for you to check that out. All that information is below. So let's jump into it. I've been really hearing that I need to start talking more about our self-talk, because really, once we become, a match to something, or how we become a match to something, is so internal. It's based on our internal systems, by having the thoughts, the feelings, and the emotions that are in alignment and congruent, and that exist where the end result is, where our manifestation goal is. So I want to talk to us today about 5 ways to really shift our self-talk so that we can transform our lives, change our realities, and manifest more of the miracles that we're seeking. So the first thing, obviously, is to become aware of the way that we talk to ourselves. I've done several videos about the power of mindfulness and awareness as tools to really help us manifest better, because they make us aware of who we are, what we're being, and more importantly, what we're thinking. So when we use mindfulness, or we use mindfulness techniques like a conscious pause, and even asking ourselves, what are we thinking right now? What are we feeling? Where is it in our bodies, right? How are we showing up in this moment? That's one way. Or we can be using prayer. And I'll make sure to tag some of these videos. How are we using prayer to help us, connect fully with God and ourselves? And then also, how are we using meditation so that we can truly see our thoughts and hear our thoughts? And I should I feel like even change my language around that, because a lot of the things that we think, a lot of the thought forms that are passing through our temporal lobe, through our mind, through our 4D, is actually not even ours. And so when we are able to truly build that awareness in, become the watcher and observer of our thoughts to ourselves, the more powerful we can be about harnessing our mind and mastering our thoughts, and finding the ones that we do want to select and repeat, what we call affirmations. So really, I really want you to select a way that works for you, that is in harmony and resonance with who you are, and how you can become better aware of your thoughts, the way that you are talking to yourselves. And I think that you might actually be surprised at the way that you're talking to yourself. So the second thing that I want us to do is to start to think about how we want to talk to ourselves. So for example, let's say that we are trying to manifest that amazing relationship, our soulmate, our lover, our husband, the amazing partner or wife, for my guys that are watching. But we have to start by thinking, wow, how do we want to talk to ourselves about this? And I mean this in a couple of different dimensions. So often we think about self-talk in terms of our self-concept around how we are trying to manifest, or what we're trying to manifest. So in this particular example, we're thinking about how we're speaking to ourselves about finding that spouse, being the receptor, being in the wish fulfilled, being in the end state, right, of the person who has that desire, right? The person that is the wife, the person that is the husband, the person who wakes up every morning with that amazing partner by their side, the person who knows that when they come home, they're going to have dinner with this person. They're going to truly share their lives with this person. That is the living in the wish fulfilled, and that is becoming the person who has the thing, as well as thinking the thoughts of the person who has that desire. So, obviously after your manifestation is here, thinking about how you're going to be in that thought and emotional state. But there's 2 parts to this. The second part is how you talk to yourself in this meantime on the manifestation journey about what it is you're trying to manifest. Are you constantly beating yourself up about the fact that the person is not here? Are you constantly, soaking your mind in the thoughts you don't want to be thinking about? The fact that the person is not there. Oh no, I woke up again alone. Oh no, I don't have the ring. Oh no, I'm not living together, or whatever is that desire. And are you blaming yourself? Are you finding fault with yourself? Are you beating yourself up? Have you become that kind of inner self critic that is talking down to yourself? These are the multiple aspects that I really feel like, honestly, most manifestation teachers are not talking about. So we can affirm ourselves all the way into things. But if we're sitting in the moment and we are truly soaking our subconscious and our mind in conversation around how bad we are or how terrible life is because of the fact that we don't have the very thing that we want, we are defeating ourselves, right? So we want to make sure that we're paying attention to not only how we want to talk about the manifestation to ourselves in an embodied way, but also how we are cognizant and aware of any talk that is potentially beating ourselves up. So on the flip side, we might want to think about, wow, like I'm doing such a great job in manifesting this, or I'm so excited about the manifestation that's coming. I'm so excited about the love that's coming in. Brooke-Sidney, you're doing such an amazing job with your manifestation work here. Affirming yourself, not just affirming the process or affirming the state or affirming the self-concept of the person who has it, but actually affirming yourself in the now. And I think that's a part that's not truly embodied and taught. And that's why I teach it. So the third thing I want you to do is I want you to see the gap. I really want you to see the gap. And the gap sometimes is harder to see. The gap is very comfortable to us, right? The gap is that place where we're trying to transition. We're trying to step through. If you haven't listened to my quantum leap meditation, go and do that, because you can see where we have to bridge sometimes where we are or how we're currently thinking to where we want to think. And so if you can become aware of that gap and approach it with love and tenderness and respect, like, okay, this is where I was, this is how I've been thinking, this is what I have been doing. I know that if I shift it in this way, I know that if I start talking to myself in a more loving, caring, supportive, encouraging, and nurturing manner, if I can talk the way that I would talk to my child, or if I can talk to myself in such a supportive way, or that those of you that have been working with me, you know that I'm your cheerleader, I'm your coach, I'm your biggest advocate. If you can hear even my voice, thinking to yourself, wow, Brooke-Sidney is cheering me on. I'm doing such a great job. My affirmations around this area have become so great. I am scripting. I'm on this journey. I have immersed myself fully in my transformation, and I am doing a great job. Y'all don't know how much that really helps to truly acknowledge the gap and encourage yourself in it. Be your primary encourager. And then I also want you to pay attention to how all of this is feeling in our bodies. It really helps for us to notice where our body, as they say, our body is keeping score of our thoughts and emotions, especially when we really want to fully embrace and release something and become the new embodiment. We have to acknowledge where that feeling and that thought sat. So I think that it's important, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring up that transformation point and that requirement that I think, again, so many people that are not really coaches, they're just teaching online, to really help us walk it all the way through, because we want to make sure that we're able to process it out and through our bodies as well, not just in our mental state, because that's where the thoughts are, but they also end up resting in our body. So make sure that you are paying attention to where those thoughts are. That self-talk is landing in your body. It's often in your heart, but sometimes it's in your stomach. Even my little kids that I'm teaching mindfulness to in schools, we're working on where are our thoughts and our emotions registering. So I'm really encouraging you to do the same. It will speed up your manifestation process, because as you start to change your thoughts, you're also releasing them all throughout your sphere, all throughout your container, right? And the last thing is, I really want you to think about fully Who is the person who has your desire? And honestly, how would they talk to themselves? What would they be saying all throughout the day? What type of practices would they be putting in to essentially ensure that they are saying the most positive things to themselves? And I want you to begin thinking that. Other thing that's really useful is to find some sort of inner conversation, which is essentially all that we're talking about today. Some way or some mantra or some affirmation that kind of sums up the beauty of the work that you're doing here. So maybe it's that I love myself, or I'm always speaking lovingly to myself, or I am loving the way that I speak about my manifestations. I'm loving my presence with myself. I'm loving how well I love myself, or I am so loving to myself. My thoughts are so loving around my manifestations. Find, play with, tweak this kind of tying it in a bow element of being able to bring yourself back together when you start having those thoughts. And if you haven't listened to my video on doubts, make sure you check that one out. But really being able to have like kind of a anchoring word, an anchoring affirmation, an anchoring thought and feeling that will transport you back into the self-talk that will create new realities and make your miracles manifest and make you feel amazing while you are doing it. I hope that this video has been helpful to you today. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, like this video, and turn that bell on so you'll know when I drop videos. I'll see you in the next one.